In 2013, a woman in Texas was convicted of a crime that barely existed. No body, no witnesses, no physical evidence. And yet, the jury still said guilty. That alone should feel impossible. But the most disturbing part wasn't the missing evidence. It was the victim, because she knew something was wrong, and she stayed anyway. At first, nothing looked criminal. No struggle, no shouting, no clear threat. Just an interaction that lasted longer than it should have. The kind of moment people forget unless something goes wrong. The woman later told investigators she felt uneasy almost immediately. Not fear, not panic, unease. A quiet pressure in her chest, a sense that something didn't feel right, but also didn't feel dangerous. And that difference mattered. Because fear makes people leave, unease makes people hesitate. The man didn't threaten her. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't block her path. He spoke calmly, politely. He explained himself, and every explanation made sense. That was the first mistake. Each explanation worked on its own, but together they formed something else. A situation where leaving felt unnecessary and staying felt reasonable. Later, investigators reconstructed the timeline. It showed multiple moments where she could have walked away. She didn't. Not because she trusted him, but because she didn't trust herself. She assumed she was misreading the situation, overreacting, being dramatic. That's what intelligent people do when danger isn't obvious. They search for logic. The man never asked for anything extreme, just small things, a minute of her time, a simple favor, a minor adjustment. Each request felt easier than refusing. Refusing would have meant confrontation, and confrontation would have meant admitting something was wrong. She wasn't ready for that. Police later made an unsettling observation. At no point did the interaction feel like a crime in progress. There was no sudden shift, no clear turning point, just a gradual narrowing of options. The woman described it as drifting, not trapped, not forced, just slowly losing clarity. Her instincts whispered, her reasoning argued back, and reasoning won. By the time she realized she wanted to leave, leaving felt awkward, rude, unreasonable. The situation hadn't broken a rule yet, it had only bent them, and humans are trained to tolerate bending. When investigators interviewed her later, they asked the obvious question, "Why didn't you leave sooner?" Her answers stopped them. "I kept waiting for proof. Proof that he meant harm. Proof that her discomfort was justified. Proof never came, not until it was too late." Then came the man's interview. He didn't avoid it. He welcomed it. He was cooperative, helpful, almost relieved to talk. He corrected investigators when they misunderstood details. He volunteered information they hadn't asked for. He shaped the story. Detectives later admitted something uncomfortable. They liked him. Not personally, psychologically. He sounded rational, measured. He didn't deny what happened. He reframed it. She misunderstood. She was already anxious. I was trying to help. Each explanation reduced urgency. The more he spoke, the less criminal the situation felt, and that was the point. Psychologists reviewing the case noticed something subtle. He never argued facts, he argued meaning. Events didn't disappear, they were reinterpreted, and meaning is harder to prove than action. Meanwhile,
The woman struggled to explain herself. Her account was filled with hesitation. I think, I felt like, maybe I was wrong. Her uncertainty made her sound unreliable, even though uncertainty was the most honest part of her story. As the case moved forward, evidence remained thin. No marks, no witnesses, no recordings, just behavior, patterns, psychology. Then investigators noticed something else. The man had done this before. Not the crime, the pattern. Different places, different people, same emotional structure. Discomfort early, hesitation, delayed realization. None of the victims reported him immediately. That delay worked in his favor. Memories softened, doubt grew. The defense called it feelings over facts. They said intuition wasn't evidence. They weren't right and they weren't wrong. The jury faced an impossible choice. No clear violence, no undeniable act, just a woman who sensed danger and continued anyway. The verdict shocked everyone. Guilty. Not for what was seen, but for what was understood. But the story didn't end there, because after the conviction, new information surfaced, something investigators had missed, something the man had counted on. And it raised a terrifying question. If victims sense something is wrong, why doesn't that stop the crime? Part 2 reveals the pattern that hesitation hides and why doubt is the most powerful weapon criminals use.